Hi, I'm Natalie Crabtree of the Crabtree Arts Collective, and I have the great honor and privilege of being a pattern designer, a sample maker, a pattern writer, and a ghostwriter in the quilting industry.
Okay, so let's do another fun question. If you could own a museum piece, anything in the world, what would it be?
Okay, so I think that I would own a Gustav Klimt piece.
Very cool.
So we went to Vienna a few years ago. Well, I guess going on 4 years ago. It was before my daughter was born. And, we went to the museums and I was just like, it's so in awe of his work and the use of the metallics and just they're so beautiful and vibrant and eye-catching. And I would just own any of those pieces. I mean, obviously I love the Kiss, but
Right.
any of them I would just adore and cherish.
So back to a little bit more quilty related. Do you have any favorite quilt designers that you want to share?
There's so many, and I
Hard.
work with some of the most brilliant quilt designers in the industry, for anywhere from modern to artistic to traditional to applique designers. Like it's just it's such a wide ranging group of designers that I have the privilege to work with. So I decided to pick someone that I like. I just admire her aesthetic so much. She's, just her designs are so unique. Robin Pickens. So often I look at her quilts and I'm just like, oh, I really want to make that. Like, that's so brilliant. That's exactly what I would have done. Like if I were to design a quilt like that, that's exactly what I would have envisioned, like what I would have wanted to convey like in that quilt design. So I love the uniqueness of her designs, and hopefully I'll get a chance to make one soon. I was just telling her a couple days ago that I have a cottage blue fat quarter bundle that I'm like dying to use, but I'm just trying to pick the perfect design to use it on. So
Isn't that always the hardest thing? You have your fabric. I know we don't hoard our fabric. We stash it, right?
Yeah,
But then again, you never want to cut into it because of the fact you're like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it again.
I know.
So special, and you're like, I just need the perfect project for it. So I'm sure our customers, our listeners, can certainly relate to that as well.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's hard to commit because, it's like when you dive into trying to decide on a design and you get so inspired. Like you're like, oh, I want that. I want to do that one. Oh, no, I want to do that one. No, I want to do that. And that's kind of like what you go through, like when you look through the keepsake catalog, right? Like you're just like, oh my gosh, like I would love to make that. Oh, wait, maybe I want to make this one. Maybe I'll do both. Like, oh, this would be a great gift. Like I go through that so often. I'm like more restricted by time. Like I don't have a whole lot of time to sew, like I said earlier, but it's really hard to choose what to spend your time sewing.
Of course. I mean, that also ties into what challenges you face as a quilt designer. How is that something that you're dealing with while you're going through the pattern making process or design process?
Yeah. So, I face a couple challenges. I think when you own your own business, there's always things that you could be doing or feel like you should be doing. And so, making boundaries for yourself and time management is always a challenge because, particularly when you work from home, anytime is an office hour, really. But I said earlier, I have a 3.5-year-old and she does not like, mommy to work. So
Right.
I usually during the day, I'll get 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. Okay, we'll go play dollies or, play with her farm or whatever. And then I'll try to come back or, so time management is always kind of an issue. But also like, being present, like, with your child, and like, cherishing those moments is so important too. So I really try to balance that as best I can. And then another challenge is, I really can't talk about most of what I do because I would say 60% of my business is ghostwriting,
Wow.
or at least 60% is really like ghostwriting and not writing under my own name, or, assisting people in writing their quilt patterns, or, creating their designs. So a lot of what I do, I can't really talk about or post about. And so it's kind of a challenge because you're so excited like to
Yeah.
participate in that. And it's really fun to be behind the scenes, but sometimes you're just like, you want to shout it from the rooftops, like, oh my gosh, this quilt is so amazing. Like, I had so much fun, creating this or writing this or contributing to this project, but you really can't say. So, but it's all good. I love being behind the scenes. It's fun to be out in front, but it's also fun to be behind the scenes. So we get the best of both worlds right
Do,
now.
do you have any tips for anybody who's looking to get into the industry and maybe do some quilt designing or pattern writing, like what
Yeah.
you guys do?
So I would say, you really have to put yourself out there, I would say, like, in my private personal life, I'm a little bit shy, but with my business, I can dive deep and be more outgoing. So, you have to like be willing to put yourself out there, and, and definitely like find your voice, like find your artistic voice, and find like what kind of designing you like to do, like what your aesthetic is, and just go with it, so that would be one of my pieces of advice. Another one would be, don't compete with other designers, just compete with yourself, because that's like what's important, right?
Mhm.
Because there's so many beautiful pattern designers out there, and there's a place for everybody. And so cheering people on, being super positive, being happy for people is so important for them, but also for your own soul. And just like competing with yourself to improve your designing, improve your writing. It's so important. So that's
No,
my advice.
that's fantastic. No, thank you so much, Natalie.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say thank you again. This has been a great interview.
Thank you so
Please,
much.
please check out Natalie's website as well. She's on Instagram, so you guys can certainly follow her. We're going to put her contact information up on this video. And also, please come visit us at keepsakequilting.com to purchase her quilt patterns. And thank you again, Natalie.
Thank you so much. It's been great fun.
It's a good one.